Oh, hello, Friday. Oh, hello, Mr. Sunshine. We haven't seen Mr. Sun very much, so it's nice to have him here. Oh, it's nice to have him here too, because we haven't seen him very much, Carson Arthur, not since the fall, but it's our, I don't know, we always see you in the fall and the spring. And
Gardening kickoff, right?
When we see you in the spring, we get very excited because we know it's close.
We're so close. The weather report is perfect.
Yeah.
Everybody's excited. Mother's Day's coming up. But this year, all the gardeners out there, we got to do something different. We got to be more environmentally friendly. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Okay, where are we?
So we're hanging out at Connon's in Waterdown. I mean, look at all the plants.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
I've never been in here before. It's massive.
Every customer right now is so focused on gardening and growing things and putting plants in the ground. We're so pumped about this, but we gotta do it differently. We gotta make a change.
Okay, what are we doing?
Let's start with fertilizer. Gonna pass you that bag. Now this is organic fertilizer. As gardeners, we know that we need to start using organic fertilizers. It's not a rocket science that using organic fertilizers on things that we're gonna eat just makes sense. Where we get into trouble is these types of plants, things that we're not gonna eat, the perennials, the annuals in our garden. People still gravitate towards synthetic fertilizers. We gotta stop. We gotta make a change away from synthetics. We're starting to see algae blooms in our water supplies all around our area. We're seeing growth that shouldn't be there, and it's all being tied to slow release synthetic fertilizers. And the reason people go after that is they are fixated on the numbers. And everybody always thinks, oh, the numbers, the numbers, the numbers.
Okay, so what are these numbers?
So these numbers represent nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. And people always try and get the biggest, the highest numbers in the bag.
So you have 533,
right?
I have 411.
Doesn't sound very high, right?
Right.
When you get into synthetics, you see 20, 20, 20, or 60, 60, 60, and people get really excited because they think they're getting more fertilizer for their plants. That's not the case. These numbers represent the percentage. They represent the percentage of nitrogen in the bag, of phosphorus in the bag, of potassium in the bag. This bag is made of chicken manure. This whole thing is organic, but the numbers are slightly lower because it's not synthesized, it's not overly processed. The synthetic fertilizers are higher, but you have to use dilution rates. You have to really be careful about it because you can hurt your plants with that.
What if you're just using regular chicken manure?
Absolutely. Composting is best. We have to make this change.
Okay.
So yes, about your plants, your vegetable garden, go organic because you're going to consume it, you want to do it, but also do the same for all of your annuals, your perennials, and your lawn. So important this year.
Is there something that is there something on the bag that we would know it's synthetic that we want to avoid seeing?
Absolutely.
What are
Look for the terms like all-purpose natural fertilizer. Look for chicken manure. Look for words that are indicators that these are organic products. In Canada, we have a company now called Omri. Omri does certification against organic products so that we know as consumers that these are safe to use. So look for those types of certifications before you go shopping this year.
Okay, 1 down, 3 more to go. In the break though, I might go peruse around because, oh, it's glorious and we're getting closer to planting. And we'll talk to Carson what we can be putting into the ground. We come back on Morning Live. So, what you doing this weekend? It's gonna be pretty nice. I bet you're gonna be out in the yard. I bet you might be planting some grass, perhaps. Well, we're here to help you out. Back here at Connon Nurseries, my main man, Carson Arthur. And the whole theme that we're going through today is Earth, our planet, helping it out.
We have to. As gardeners, as homeowners, we got to make a change. And unfortunately, this stuff is a real problem.
Why?
So this is grass. This is specifically Kentucky bluegrass. Is it grass? Yeah. But I want you to see these things down here. Roots. See how long they are?
Yeah.
They're only about 3 to 4 inches long. That's the depth that Kentucky bluegrass grows. And unfortunately, what's happening is Canadians and everybody in Ontario is so addicted to Kentucky bluegrass. We think that's the grass we have to keep planting. It doesn't root very deep, which doesn't make it very environmentally friendly.
I didn't know there was other types of grass.
And there is the problem. So right now what we're seeing, and it happened the last few years in Vancouver, it's now working its way this way, we're getting what are called monoculture situations. Everybody's planted the same grass seed, every front yard is exactly the same. We get grubs in every yard, moving their way across, and people are really starting to freak out about all the grubs in these neighborhoods, and they want grub deterrence and they want to stop it. The key to stopping this is we have to change up the grass seed. Grubs like this because it's shallow rooted. They just eat the roots just under the grass itself, and they can feed on it.
It's
all Kentucky blue, and it's all exactly the same, and the roots are all really short. So we have to go different.
So what are we doing?
So what are we going to do differently? We are going to look for blends. This is a perfect example. See, there's Kentucky bluegrass, so we still get the visual, but we've also got fescue in there, we've got ryegrass. Blended grass seeds are significantly better for the environment for a few different reasons. One, they need less fertilizer. Two, they adapt to your location significantly better. So if you're in a clay area of the Hamilton region, or if you're in a sandy spot, blends, the grass that's going to grow best will take over and actually spread in that area and do better. You don't use as much fertilizer because you get different depths of roots. So you actually have more nutrition being actually absorbed from the soil. Less watering because you have blends that are traditional to Canadians, indigenous here, like the fescues and the ryegrass.
Does it matter? What, like, this is different than, there's not even any Kentucky in here.
Yeah, so for shade spaces, you don't see.
Super shade.
Yeah, because Kentucky bluegrass doesn't do well in shade.
Okay.
So, but we put it down because we think that that's what we want to do.
Right.
So by adjusting our blends, by incorporating more fescues, more indigenous seeds to our area, we use less toxins, we use less pesticides, we use less water, it roots deeper, and more importantly, we get rid of the grubs.
Fertilizer, quickly back to that. If
Yep.
you're using fertilizer on this, you're using?
Organic, organic, organic. Yeah, look for manure. Anything pellet form manure, chicken manure, sheep manure in pellet form is fantastic for grass. As long as it has nitrogen, your grass will be happy.
You mentioned Vancouver. There's something really happening in Vancouver that is coming this way. A little teaser for you. We'll be back with Carson at Connon Nurseries in Waterdown on Morning Live. Good morning. Here at Connon Nurseries in Waterdown, we're raking in some tips for you. And we're raking in some ideas to help Mother Earth. That's been the theme with our good pal Carson Arthur this morning. As we're getting closer to spring planting season, we talked fertilizer, good fertilizer, organic fertilizer. We talked grass seed.
Absolutely.
Okay, and the need to be using different types of grass seed. You got a gasoline jug.
A dirty jerry can from
right.
old gasoline. So we're seeing across the country, more and more municipalities, cities, provinces are even looking at banning yard tools that use gas. We got to get away from it because we're putting CO2 in the air that's not necessary. So for example, lawnmowers in our area, an average lawnmower puts about 88 pounds of CO2 into the air. Every single lawnmower. There's 1.7 million lawnmowers in Canada. Every year, they're pumping the CO2 into the air. Whereas carpenters and contractors have been using batteries for a long time. Power tools with batteries have been the norm for carpenters, but we haven't seen that transition yet for homeowners. And the thing is, and I'm gonna pass this to you, these batteries are interchangeable. The same battery that runs the hand drill also runs the chainsaw. So your yard tools are just as strong as your indoor contractor tools, but people haven't made that adjustment, and we've got to. And there's a real big reason why. It's not just the CO2, but it's also that these batteries are now recyclable. All of the parts of these batteries, and you can see that logo right there.
That's where I was going next.
Yeah.
With all these batteries, what are you doing with them?
They're all recyclable. So they're interchangeable and they're recyclable, which means you can use the same battery on different tools. Now this one obviously is from Craftsman with the Lowe's products, so you can use it on all the Craftsman tools. The same battery interconnects because of the platform. You use less, and when you're done with it, this gets recycled. They've even gotten better at recycling the lithium, which was part of the big conversation about 5 years ago. Now, more and more of this actually is getting reused into new battery parts, which makes it even more environmentally friendly. I mean, obviously, hand tools are going to be the best, but when you can, go with a battery-operated tool instead of a gas-operated tool because it's so much better for the planet.
Has anybody banned it altogether?
Yeah, we're starting to see that in Vancouver.
Right,
yeah.
like a grandfathering in system, because people aren't just going to ditch them right away.
So that's the thing. Obviously, you're not going to throw out your gas tools, and I don't want people to do that, but what I want people to realize is when you buy your next tool, look at the battery options, look at handheld options, look at a different way to get the job done.
Same thing with our vehicles. We're starting to look that way.
Absolutely.
Do it with your yard tools too. Okay, you know something else that you can do to help planet Earth, Mother Earth? Plant a tree. We're doing that with our main man, Carson Arthur. Connon Nurseries in Waterdown on Morning Live. Oh, it's been a tremendous Friday here at Connon Nurseries in Waterdown. It just feels good to be back at a nursery, just getting set and ready for the planting season. And if you're planting, why not plant a tree? Back with my pal, Carson Arthur. Because, well, we've known forever planting trees is a good thing for our world.
Yeah, the bigger question is cutting down trees is not a good thing. And so right now, on a global scale, we're losing 2.5 million trees per day.
Okay, because I was going to say, if we're cutting down a tree and we're planting a tree in its place, isn't that okay?
That would be great, but that's not what people are doing. So we had moth infestations last year. We had trees that were covered by emerald ash borer. We've had homeowners cutting down trees in their backyards or in their front yards and not replacing them, saying, oh, I want more sunlight, or they're messy, or all the leaves falling down in my pool makes a mess. I don't want trees. We are losing in Canada, in our cities, right here at home, our urban tree canopy because homeowners are choosing not to replant trees. And this is a really bad thing. Trees are our front line of defense when it comes to climate change. And people say, I want less mess. I want more sun in my backyard. I don't want to take advantage of all the leaves that could turn into fertilizer. People are making the change not to have trees, and we got to stop that.
Okay, if you're planting trees, what type of trees should we be planting?
Well, deciduous trees are always going to be your best. Deciduous trees provide more. They clean the air faster than evergreens, but as the leaves fall off these new guys, those can be composted. That's free organic fertilizer.
Simplify things, deciduous.
Deciduous have leaves.
Yeah.
They have leaves,
Right.
not like these evergreens over here that are called conifers.
Okay, so is conifers, is it still good at all?
It's still good. So as long as there's green happening here, that means there's chlorophyll, and when there's chlorophyll, that means photosynthesis is taking place. These are cleaning the air. But these stay green all year. They don't drop their needles in a way that we can use them for composting. These guys, though, as the leaves fall off, go into a compost pile. The average maple tree, about 15 feet by, 15 feet tall by maybe 12 feet wide, produces enough free fertilizer that you can fertilize all your plant beds, your vegetable gardens, and you can do it organically for free. It's about $50 worth of free fertilizer right here.
Okay. What can we put in the ground right now? I know it's still the beginning of May.
No, all your perennials can go down. So
Okay.
get your perennials in the gardens. They're good to go, especially at garden centers like here at Connons. They've hardened them off. Skip the annuals. We're going to wait till the Victoria Day weekend for that.
Okay.
You can also skip your tropicals. If you use tropicals and planters, just hold off a
I
little
know,
longer.
but next week is looking nice.
Don't get tempted.
No?
We still live in
Because
Ontario.
and those night temperatures are...
Exactly.
Okay, dude, awesome seeing you.
My pleasure.
We'll see you in the fall.